Remember, the Super Chat is open, everybody. And give us a thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever you feel we deserve. We would appreciate that. And let's have a good show. Actually, I always forget, and that's my timeout. We got like 20 seconds. 20 seconds. I always forget that. Oh,
no, this is what happens when I'm not on top of things.
I know. All right. Here we go. 10 seconds. And 3, 2, and 1. From the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show on our terrestrial affiliates around North America and digitally on TalkStream Live and Revolution Radio. If you want to take a listen to our archives, they are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. Tonight's show is brought to you by Chive Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by visiting Chive Charities today. You can find them on our website. Tonight, as we do near the end of each month, we hold the SOR Paranormal Roundtable, where we take a look at the month that was, and you know what? We have a good time coming tonight. It was actually a pretty slow month for big news, for big topics of discussion, and it's just something that, you know, either way, we must plow through. We have to. We are joined tonight by the panel from Goof On, regular here, Rich Giordano. He's got a great beard and mustache going on. Very thin right now, but I'm sure if he took the time to grow it in, it would look fantastic. Nicole Sakach, who celebrated a milestone birthday this week. She is an experiencer and researcher with Grant Cameron. One of my favorite podcasters out there. Good friend of this show, The Quest, Roy Washington. And you asked for him, so I delivered. Everybody wants to know who the heck Corrence, the booking guy, is. Well, he's on here tonight with all of you. Panel, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
As always. Now, I got to say this, first and foremost. I'm going to start off in the Bigfoot world here. The reason why I am doing that, okay, is earlier this week, we had Cliff Barrickman on from the BFRO and Finding Bigfoot television show. And I got to say, I was ready for a real attitude from this guy. And I was pleasantly surprised that he's actually a really, really good dude. I was shocked by that. Okay? Maybe a little over-shocked, but I mean, the fact was, he was a good guy. But he said something that kind of irked me. And it was like fingers on a chalkboard. And this is where we're going to start the roundtable, because I think Cliff and his team are doing some fantastic work in trying to prove the existence of Sasquatch in the forests of North America. But here's where I took a little bit of offense. I'm offended by this. And Rich, we're going to start with you on this one. I know. Okay, this is what he said. I asked Cliff about these footprints that people find in the snow, this trail of footprints, and all of a sudden they go and stop. And one of the things that Cliff stated was that they believe Sasquatch is reversing itself and walking backwards back into the prints because it is that much of a smart creature, and there is no way it could have ever disappeared. I said, Cliff, that would leave a double print. And there's claims that there are no double prints in these things. So here's my question, Rich. At times, do we try to be way too scientific and way too practical for the subjects that we cover or want to discover?
It's weird that he would even say that, knowing people would think, where are the double printed casts of these things, if that's what they're doing in the snow? I don't know. Can they make casts in the snow?
You can.
I don't know.
You
guess
actually
you can.
You use hairspray. Hairspray first before you
Great.
cast it. Yeah.
Okay, so, but I don't know, man. Didn't he used to say that Bigfoot was able to diminish, and disappear? I thought that's what he would think. I thought he said that in the early days. Some people see Bigfoot, and then all of a sudden he disappears. There's no trace of him. They didn't see him come out behind the tree. He was just gone. So that's weird. And I know you've had an experience where you saw, kind of like that weird, I don't know, what is it? Sparkly type of, I don't know, like a shimmy?
I saw pixelation.
Pixelation.
Yeah.
Thank you. So I don't know, man. I think that's weird. He's probably trying too hard to be different. Come up, maybe be the first person to say that. I don't know, man. We do that in ufology too, and we get it wrong. We try to come up with another thing, another answer nobody thought of, maybe because it can make sense. I don't think Bigfoot could do that and get away with it. You'd have to be one hell of a ballerina to do that. I just don't see that coming out of the big guy.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. You're dealing with a creature that could be up to 600-800 pounds, if not more.
Right.
Okay. I mean, does it have the balance of a ballerina? Does it carry a tape measure with it so it doesn't fall back? What happens if one has a torn ACL? It's not going to have that good a balance.
Oh, well, now you're overthinking it, because if he had a torn ACL, he would never go out in the snow and create those tracks.
Well, he would if he's wild. He'd have to go get the food.
I don't understand it either, man. It doesn't make sense, and I think he's trying too hard, like you said. He's just saying something, being too simplistic or overthinking it. Yeah, that's what it is. You know that. That's because if it doesn't make sense, it can't work for some reason. That's what I always live by.
Roy, what's your thoughts?
That's a good question. I mean, I'm just thinking that even if he pixelates and like the Predator, his weight is still going to make those prints. So I know I've heard people talk about there's always they think there's always some type of spacecraft in the area that they're connected with Bigfoot. If they're disappearing like that, what if they're being beamed up? Well, pixelated, I don't think would have anything to do with the footprints. He's going to make those prints whether you see them or whether you don't, in my opinion, unless he's going backwards like that. And I just think that's just too much.
I agree with you. Roy. And the reason why I agree with you is the fact that at some point, Roy, we have to be able to open up our minds a little bit. And I'm not saying Cliff isn't. Okay, I'm not saying that he isn't willing to do that. He's going where he feels the evidence takes him. But I think it's a lot of times, Roy, that whether it's Bigfoot, whether it's UFOs, whether it's ghosts, we're trying so hard to be practical and scientific and not believe in the woo, right, that we almost ignore the simplicities of the action that has happened. And for people like me, I find that frustrating. How about you?
Yes, I do. I do find it frustrating. But everything about the paranormal just it challenges our way of thinking and the way we break it down and analyze it. So, but yeah, I think him stepping backwards, retracing his tracks like that is just too much. So, no.
All right, Corrence, the booking guy, is the guy who booked Cliff Barackman. And Corrence, I got to say publicly here, I've said it before on the air, but now that you're actually here for the first time and embarrassed and a little sheepish, and we're going to, make you your mustache tingle a little bit here. And I like to brag about my hair and facial hair, but dude, you kick my butt when it comes to the mustache. You really do. But you're the guy who has booked a multitude of guests here over the last number of months. Dude, you've taken us to a whole new level. So before I get your opinion on this, I just want to say congratulations for all the hard work you do for Spaced Out Radio, man. It is really appreciated, and you do so much to make this show sound fantastic, and I'm thankful that you're there for me, man.
Well, first of all, thank you. That's very much appreciated. I appreciate that. And everyone out there, he is correct. I do kick his tush on the mustache, so that's true.
No, it's true.
It's true. And Spaced Out Radio has been elevated because I'm here. You just need to understand that.
Yes,
so,
very true. Very true.
Now that we're done with that, I want to be clear on this Cliff question. We're questioning his assertion that Bigfoot is backtracking on his own path, right?
Yes. That's what Cliff said, that he believes that that they are backtracking on their own.
Okay. My take is, and this is probably something you're going to see, is I just tend to listen to what a lot of people say, and if we're going to, a lot of the things that we hear or that we've experienced, a lot of these people are going to say is far out there, is crazy, is not believable. So my take on that is he's coming up with a theory, an idea that I would not necessarily dismiss simply because there are people out there who fully believe Bigfoot is intelligent enough to understand and use portals and dimensional doors. And if that's the case, then you have to be able to at least entertain the idea that the creature would be intelligent enough to do something else, such as backtrack to simply throw people off their trail. That's how I would look at it. I don't have any proof, of course, or evidence of that. I haven't experienced a Bigfoot face-to-face or, that I can say was there. I've heard things. I've had experiences when I go hiking and camping out by myself. But I don't have the same experiences you've had, Dave, or Cliff has. However, I would entertain that if we believe that Bigfoot can do dimensional doors, he or she can understand how to use them, where they come up. If we're going there, backtracking to me is lower on the level of intelligence to be able to do that.
Without being able to create a second print, there would be some sort of smudging. We're talking every single line on the foot, every epidermal or dermal ridge, everything lining up. A footprint is like a fingerprint, man.
Okay, if it's completely like it looks like he just simply stepped there and then kept moving without stopping or reversing, I agree with you. Then that would make sense, and that's where you would have to use your abilities as a tracker, or in the academic world of analyzing footprints and the way they would look when you first make them. Then yeah, you can go there. So if they look perfect, yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm just saying I would not just dismiss it out of hand just because, there's no way Bigfoot would do that. On the other hand, you made a good point. If they look perfect, as if he just kept moving forward, then that wouldn't even be something I would have entertained to begin with.
Very true. Nicole, by the way, happy birthday, celebrating your 40th birthday and 40th trip around the sun. We really do wish you a happy new year for you in your life. Congratulations on
50
hitting
years
the
old. That's beautiful.
50 years old.
Yes.
Very nice.
Unbelievable.
Very nice.
She looks good.
And
right?
no turkey neck just yet.
No neck. No turkey neck.
Dave. And hey, I wanted to say thank you for coming to my surprise birthday Zoom party. I don't even know who planned that, how it went down, or anything, but
I do.
that was a highlight.
It was your boss, Grant Cameron, who
Oh,
did that.
I should have known.
that's cool.
Look at how sweet he is.
He's awesome.
I don't know. He might be listening in the chat room tonight.
Grant Cameron.
Listening.
Hey, Grant.
Hi, Grant. How are you?
He's
Grant?
always listening. Of course he's here.
He's wondering. He's wondering where his Winnipeg Jets are going to trade Patrick Laine this offseason. That's what he's worried about right now. It's not UFOs. It's what are the Jets doing with Patrick Laine. Anyways, Nicole, same question for you regarding Bigfoot. Do we try too hard, to be skeptical because we don't want to believe that there is potential evidence of something supernatural with this creature?
Well, I think with this topic, like many paranormal topics, whether it's cryptid or UFOs, I think a little bit of left brain inhibitor comes into play here, where our right brain creative side might witness these things or hear these stories and it clicks with us and we want to believe it, and we probably should. But then our left brain comes into play. It's all analytical, and we give ourselves excuses. Like, no, we can't believe that because this or that. And we've discussed several times that I think we feel science is lacking in these fields. So I think there needs to be a way to maybe account for that left brain inhibiting in these woo fields that we all kind of swim around in. But specifically more with your question about the tracks in Bigfoot that Cliff mentioned, my thoughts are with Bigfoot, I do maybe think that he has evolved to be super stealthy. And we know that he is intelligent. If this creature can do the things that I believe people say they witness or that they encounter or that they see. And another animal in the animal kingdom that is highly strange, we all know, is the octopus. And what does it do? It hides, it camouflages itself, it mimics other animals, it uses tools. So it's really not a big stretch for me to believe that maybe Bigfoot could possibly do these things as well. Especially, I think humans or Homo sapiens sapiens are intelligent. So why wouldn't Bigfoot be just as capable, if not on a more natural, wild level, maybe? But
I challenge you to walk backwards barefoot in the snow in a forest and make your print look exactly the same and get the same deviations, get the same exact print in the snow.
Oh, I think that's a leap. I do disagree with that when you do try to do it yourself or go in the field. And maybe in a snowy situation you could have melt out and it wouldn't be so clear. But I don't know. I think of big cats. They're like the stealthiest walking animal that I know of. And you never see them even reverse a couple steps and land in their same print, let alone turn around and have the toe configuration still match up. That's it in a nutshell. But what it makes me jump to is, are there any other animal type tracks in the vicinity of these? If this is a mutation kind of, he can morph into something else. Are there Bigfoot tracks and then 5-8 feet of nothing, and then there's like deer track or wolf track or some other being? I don't know.
Well, you know what? I'm
That would
going to bring up a good point here that was just made by Squid in our chat room on YouTube, who stated that over time, okay, the prints change in the snow. So therefore, unless it all of a sudden hits the brakes and reverses back, the print is going to change. And thank you for that, Squid. That's a very intelligent comment there that sometimes the woo side of Dave doesn't even think about. But there is that, too. There is that possibility, crew. So, yes. All right. But either way, all right, either way, it still comes down to the fact that, you know, at times I think we try too hard to be skeptical, Nicole. And you have dealt with this in the UFO field, so is Rich. Corrence, you know, his mustache, he's very critical of his mustache. All right. Roy is kind of new to the field, but he's learning very quick, and he's an excellent observer, and I'm sure he notices things as well. You know, at some point, how do we, or is it even possible, as we got about 2.5 minutes left here, Nicole, we'll start with you. Is it even possible to try and combine the woo with the science?
Yeah, I do. I think it's completely possible. I think we just have to let go and trust in our own instincts a little bit with what we're experiencing and what we think we need to do to figure it out. I mean, we are rational people. We do try to give ourselves an excuse or, like you said, be skeptical. But at some point when we realize that that only gets you so far, then, you know, that's when you take the leap of faith, you know, go into the beyond. That's where true science lies. If you want to know the truth, you know, it's in the unknown.
For sure.
You try anything.
For sure. Corrence, let's bring you back in here. Are we trying too hard to be skeptical? Can science and the woo mix together?
Most definitely it can. You're always going to have to be skeptical. If you're not, then you're not going to have a validity to what you're trying to show people is out there. You can't just accept everything. However, on the other hand, over-skepticism will lead people to turning people off to something, and it often, you know, especially in the academic world, I've seen it firsthand. People more often than not go in with a preconceived notion or an idea rather than an open mind.
Why do you think that is? Do you think it's out of embarrassment, putting their education on the line? They just don't want to be that person who agrees that the woo is out there?
I think it's actually a couple of different reasons. I think that you have to take into account that people, their nature, human nature, a lot of times when people go in, they tend to think they're always right. Then I agree with you. People also don't want to put their career on the line by being judged for having agreed or even asserted that something exists or something might be that their colleagues would then attack them for. So you have those two things going on, and well, again, I'm not even going to bring politics into it, but it's human nature, and of course their career. Yeah,
exactly. Hold on to that thought, because we are going to go to break here at the bottom of the hour. It's the SOR Paranormal Roundtable. We do it near the end of each month here on Spaced Out Radio. Rich Giordano from Goof On, researcher and experiencer Nicole Sakach, the host of The Quest, Roy Washington, and Corrence the booking guy, here on our panel tonight. All right, we're clear.
Right.
Cool.
Oh, yes. For those of you who are, one of our good friends on this show, and we're going to be getting him on hopefully soon, is Dave Schrader. So we should give a little shout out to him because you can use his code Darkness Radio to get 1 year of Stitcher Premium for just $17. That is cheaper than some of radio shows out there are charging per month for membership.
That's cheap.
Yeah. And I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of Dave Schrader. Not only is he a great guy, okay, but he does one hell of a good broadcast. And,
he does, man.
Take advantage of that. Totally take advantage of that.
Yeah, I got hooked on the Dave Schrader and the Darkness Radio years ago, back in maybe 2010. So yeah, big fan of his.
Yeah, me too. He's a pro. Absolute pro.
Yeah.
I don't advertise a lot of shows on here. Richie, I always advertise yours, Quest as well. But Dave is one that I would stand behind. He's been doing this a long time. I personally think he's better than me at what we do here because he's been doing it so much longer, and he's just the consummate pro. Corrence, the booking guy. What the hell are you doing over there?
Oh, are you hearing? I'm making some coffee. Sorry.
I thought you were like lathering some mustard on a ham sandwich or something.
I didn't know you could hear that. I'm getting me some coffee, so sorry.
Sounds like a martini.
Yeah. I thought he was in the bathroom.
Oh. I don't think I'd have taken my phone with me there.
Oh, hey.
You never know.
Rich, did you ever play the video came out a couple months ago where the mayor forgot to turn their mic on turn his mic off during a council meeting and went to the bathroom and dropped a big dose?
Oh yeah. And they all heard it. Oh my God, the whole room heard it.
That was awesome.
It was hilarious.
That was
awesome. Unreal.
That was some of the best stuff I've seen on TV in a while.
Wow. Wasn't he? That. Didn't he talk or something?
No,
what else did he do?
I think so.
He was grunting.
Grunting, yeah. Yeah, he was like, That's so funny. That's like the biggest embarrassing. That's like the most embarrassing thing that can happen.
Oh, yes.
Oh my.
Right? Other than walking out with your pants down by accident. Like,
oh man.
1 second. Yeah.
Hey, Rich.
Yes, Nicole.
What's this new gig you got going on where you're like King of Arizona? You and Doc Skinner like reign over Arizona and are going to investigate things. What are these rumors I'm hearing?
Well, third phase is doing something that hasn't been done other than MUFON and trying to create a team of researchers for each state. And we're starting out here in Arizona with me and Doc Skinner as if people have any sightings or any weird activity, we'll go investigate it and come back with the report, film everything, and document everything. So then it would be going up on third phase, and it would be an episode, more or less.
Corey, Corrence, are you okay? I mean, it sounds like you're walking up like 2 or 3 stairs there.
It was the Keurig making noise, and then I walked in here, and Hellboy's walking around with his mouth, so I got kind of concerned he's going to start howling while I'm on the show. So, just if it happens, I apologize.
Oh, all right, we got about 1 minute here. Thank you to Cat Chaser for kicking off the Super Chat tonight. Really do appreciate that. The Super Chat is open. Great way to support what we do. Also, make sure if you're new to the channel, you hit that subscribe button or thumbs up, thumbs down. Arthur, I haven't got your thumbs down yet. I'd appreciate that. And or maybe, I don't know. Oh. Bearded Lady usually gives me a thumbs down, too. But
how do you know who gives you a thumbs down?
Oh, we know.
There it is. There it is. I can see it. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm like, okay.
Great way to support this show is do a little shopping at the SOR Vault on our website. Join the Space Travelers Club for $5 a month. We're going to kick things off here, everyone, in about 5 seconds, so hold tight. Welcome back to Spaced Out Radio. Second half hour is underway tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show, including everyone around North America tuning us on in. We appreciate you. Hey, I want to remind you that if you've missed portions of this show or others, go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor. Hit that subscribe button. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. It's the Paranormal Roundtable. We do it near the end of each month where we bring in a little bit of a group of friends here to debate, discuss the month that was. We're going to continue on here with Roy Washington from The Quest. Yeah, great podcast out of Milwaukee. I mean, I'm not sure about his baseball team because I'm a Yankees fan, but they have been better than us recently. Roy, right before the break, we were talking about skepticism. Are we trying too hard to be skeptical? And can we combine the woo with scientific data to form some sort of answers to what is going on?
I think personally for me, a lot of times the woo walks hand in hand with the scientific data because, as I'm getting into this and hearing people like Dave Schrader, who we spoke about, and you, Dave Scott, Coast to Coast, I'm hearing stories of paranormal and stories of cryptids that's not normal. That's not normal conversation that I'm used to hearing. Knowing that there's other things out here, other degrees of intelligence and species out here in this world, that gives me a lot of woo right there, taking in all this knowledge. So it walks hand in hand for me personally, most of the time.
How about for you, Richie G?
Yeah, man, you gotta. Aren't we already combining them? That's what we're doing when we go there. We're combining it. So
Yes,
I don't
sir.
understand the question.
Well, I know that, but the fact is, and if I go back to Cliff Barrickman, because this is where it all started, and once again, Cliff did a fantastic, fantastic job in talking about Bigfoot, especially through all of our technical difficulties. And I'll tell you, once again, I want to remind everybody what a heck of a guy he is. But one thing that he said is there is no evidence regarding the woo side of things. There's no scientific proof that it is going on. It's just a matter of stories that need to be investigated on a scientific way. I don't agree with that, but what is your opinion, Rich?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't like the comment. I don't. That's what we're trying to do is see what scientific data we can compare to. That's the thing. That's what stinks about the paranormal woo. It's never the same. You can't duplicate it. And if you can, then you say, okay, that's what is that? Where it keeps coming back over and over again. And the energy just keeps repeating. People see the same apparition in the same place over and over. What's that called?
Repetition.
Residual. Thank you.
Residual.
So that is the only thing that may be duplicated, but it still doesn't duplicate scientifically. You may see it in the same place, but it doesn't show up on your whatever meter you have that day that you're using. Maybe you'll get an EVP, but you can't get the same voice or the same words repeated, or it's really not smart enough, to answer. It's not intelligent. Who knows? I don't know. It's very confusing, and that's what I think we're doing, Dave. We're trying to put all this stuff together and trying to duplicate it. And since we can't, it's hard to say it's actually there. It's hard to prove. Well, you got it one time this way, another time that way. But wouldn't you agree there's something going on there? Yeah, but it could be just the rocks underneath or the way the house is designed, all this other stuff, interference from, who knows what, Wi-Fi. So you got a lot in the equation, man, and to duplicate it is the only way to get real good data, and that's very hard to do.
All right. I want to get to Elaine's point here because I think she brings up a very good point, Rich. She says, if an eyewitness can stand up in court, why can't an eyewitness be legit on a Bigfoot sighting? But I'll even say with UFOs or ghosts.
Well, we capture criminals. We know there's criminals out there. We just haven't captured Bigfoot. Till then, it's just stories. And unfortunately, that's what people are saying. Yeah, you may be able to go to court, but say, well, wait a minute, we don't have any real good evidence of Bigfoot. Really good data. There's very little. And yes, there's stuff out there, but a lot of people say it's fake or CGI, whatever, and you can't prove it unless it walks right up to the camera, basically. So that's why, man. I mean, we capture criminals. We know there's bad people out there. And if somebody has a reputation, there we go. Repeating the same stuff over again, proving a point that there is something wrong with this individual. Bigfoot, we can't duplicate. It's hard to get the same data over and over. I mean, you can go to locations, right, Dave, and have those, those where fruit is being taken. What are those called? All the gifting thing?
Yeah, my gifting site, yeah.
So, do you have anything on camera yet? I mean, if we can get something on camera, grabbing it, that stuff never seems to happen.
No, I hear you. I
lost my train of thought. I'm done. Bigfoot. I'm thinking Bigfoot, and I can't think straight. I get so upset.
All right. Let's go over to you, Corrence, the booking guy. You can take yourself off mute now. And there he is. Did you hear that unmute right there? Did you hear that unmute? That was a beautiful unmute there, Corrence. Appreciate that. And anyways, Corey, what is your thoughts in regards to the fact that in a court of law, eyewitness testimony can be used in a court of law, but if it's in the court of woo, we're not allowed to use it. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't equal up. It's all garbage. It's all hearsay. What's your thinking on that?
Okay.
Is that
Sorry,
your cat?
Hellboy's howling.
Is that your
Yes,
cat?
that's Hellboy.
That's awesome.
That's what I was warning you about.
Hold on.
All right.
Spookles the cat is going to absolutely go haywire over this. She's going to be like, shut up, Dave, shut up, Corey, let me hear the cat talk.
He's walking around with his pet mouse in his mouth. Anyway, he heard his name, so he stopped. All right. Okay, the problem I see with the evidence issue, when it pertains to the paranormal, you have people who are experiencing these phenomena that, in all likelihood, none of us expected. It happened. It's very difficult to replicate. And that just leads then to the obvious that we aren't prepared to gather proof at that moment. And when it happens, people are like, oh, why didn't you get video? Why didn't you do this? Because I was thinking about this the other day. Some of these things that I've experienced, the last thing on my mind is to sit there and think clearly, get a video, make sure, oh, here we are, I'm thinking calmly and I'm just doing my thing. It's taking you by surprise, and it's kind of freaky, for lack of a better word. So you're not thinking of that. And then the scientific community, or people who want real proof, they want you to go out and say, okay, we need proof of this. So you're going to set up your equipment and you're going to go do your thing. But again, a lot of these things happen in events. These are events that happen very unexpectedly. And that's very difficult for us to gather the kind of proof people want. Now, on the other hand, along the lines of what you're talking about being in a court of law, it comes down to, again, human nature. People have their belief systems in place. They have things that they are fully willing to say, this is what we will take at face value, and the other things we won't. And then a stigma is placed on the things they won't. And I think that's kind of where we're struggling with right now.
Nicole, I want your opinion on that. in regards to in regards to eyewitness testimony, that it's good enough for the court of law, but it isn't good enough in the court of woo?
Oh, well, it should be good enough for the court of woo. And I will say those in session probably haven't been active enough in the field and tried for themselves to really find out what everybody's talking about. I think the court of woo is surface level, or what does Don Schmidt call it? Armchair research, that kind of stuff. So it sounds fantastical, but even fall back to, Mr. Hall on Sunday nights, he breaks down what would stand the truth of court and what doesn't fly in the court of hearsay. We see that in the media too. We hang people out to dry before they even get before a judge. It's terrible.
No, very true. Very true. But in our community, all right, we see that the minute somebody wants to give eyewitness testimony, immediately you hear the groaning, you can actually feel the eye rolling coming at you. All right, everybody says, we've had enough of it, we don't want any more. People are frustrated by it, and I could see that. It's only been 70 years worth of eyewitness testimony. But we still can't discount it because we're sick of it, Nicole.
Right. I don't think we should discount it. I don't really know who's sick of it. I kind of think that experiencers have been neglected through this whole 70-year process. I mean, we were talking about being skeptical a few minutes ago, and we all approach it that way. Well, we've been approaching it that way as a community, I think, for 70 years, instead of listening to the sometimes fantastical things and information that experiencers have. They're the ones pushing the envelope in the research field, I believe. That's my opinion. I think people who aren't experiencers have good intentions and do good research as far as digging into cases and giving those nuts and bolts aspects and those skeptical points of view. But those of us that fall into the experiencer contactee category, it's a different story. I think back to even the days of Hal Puthoff and Targ, like running their experiments and trying to even test Uri Geller. I mean, they knew he had capabilities, but even developing a standard way to test his abilities and be able to repeat it and have it be so truly subjective, they found that difficult. Every test they ran, they could find a hole in it. So even back then, the science was kind of lacking. They knew that they couldn't, with their given tools and their given mindsets, they still could not figure out how he could do the things that he could do. And currently, I look at the work of people pushing the envelope like Wendy Gallant and Rob Freeman. I know Grant has been sharing a lot of their work. And it's kind of playing off that Eastern philosophy point of view where you can use your mind to develop these capabilities that we've forgotten that we have as human beings. And what they work on currently is seeing without your eyes. And the way I kind of describe it is seeing with your third eye. And they've developed this method of, you blindfold yourself and you start off with these training methods and you practice. And a lot of it is colors and shapes. And it's amazing. I mean, people practice this method. I think you interviewed Caroline Corey on SOR. She, does a lot of interesting work in this kind of consciousness and human capabilities as well. So I think that's where the science lies. I think that's where the gap is bridged. More experiencers need to throw their hat.
Very true. Let's get over to Roy. You're going to have the final say on this category. Court of law allows eyewitness testimony, but in the court of woo, it means absolutely nothing to the majority of people out there. What's your take on this?
I think it means a lot to us in the paranormal community, but when it comes to the leaders, when I'm talking about the government heads of the country, I think that it's still a situation where they kind of want to be hush-hush about certain things. That's why a lot of times when I hear interviews, especially guys in the military, and I served as well, who have experienced Bigfoot or cryptids out in the field, they're a lot of times threatened as far as with their career status to be quiet about what they've seen. So until it gets to the point, and it's going to get there, where the heads of the nation, we're get to the point where we're all ready to openly talk about the cryptids and UFOs, all this stuff, and openly talk about it, then we'll be accepted as far as in the court of woo to really openly speak, especially those who have those career type, those uppity type careers, and not have to worry about that and be able to speak openly about what you've seen and what you've experienced. So I think that's the difference right there to me.
Okay, so with the fact that there's a lot of people out there, Roy, who are seeing things, they're having these incredible experiences that cannot be explained. They can only explain them the way we do. And let's face it, as humans, we are not the most accurate species out there when it comes to remembering how things went and how things looked. I mean, we've proven that over and over again. But, when it comes to evidence in what we are dealing with, ghosts, Bigfoot, Dogman, fairies, gnomes, aliens, UFOs, all right, that's a lot of times all we have. That's all we have, and we have to take the best of it. So do you think we are failing as a paranormal society by shutting down the eyewitness testimony? Or do you think we're actually gaining from it because we're forcing people to be better?
I think a little bit of both, and I think it's good to force people to be better. Whether that's maybe being quicker with getting the camera out, or I know these cryptids, they're so fast and they're so quick, but just maybe stepping our game up as far as getting this evidence, as far as getting clear footage, and clear pictures of what's going on out there in the woods, or what's going on in your house as far as with paranormal activity going on. So I think in a way it's both ways to be good. But yeah, we do need to step our game up, and I think with technology we will be able to catch what we're not able to catch now. Maybe a couple years from now, our footage will get much better, and our evidence will get much better. So it's coming. It's coming.
Well, I hope so. I hope so. We're going to shift gears here as we got about 5 minutes here before we go to break at the top of the hour. Our SOR Roundtable participants tonight, we have Corrence, the booking guy, Roy Washington from his great podcast, The Quest, out of Milwaukee, out of Arizona, Height Unknown, Weight Unknown, Little Richie G from Goof On, and the 40-year-old virgin, Nicole Sakach, who just turned 40 the other day. So we are just having some fun tonight on the SOR Roundtable. I had to do it, Nicole. I apologize. I did have to do it, though. And I know you're laughing. I know you're laughing.
I'm trying not to snort.
I think I snorted. I think I did. Anyways, getting back to Cliff Barrickman, he made another fantastic comment on the show that I think is worth discussion. And, Nicole, I want to start with you on this one, if you don't mind, and we will carry this one right through into hour number 2. And it's about video. It's about video evidence. And he was talking about Bigfoot. But I really believe that this can be carried over to everything in the paranormal world. Ghosts, UFOs, aliens, you name it. And he said, due to CGI and due to people making mock videos and hoaxing videos and places like YouTube allowing these videos to get huge amount of hits from the public, that the day of video evidence is pretty much over. That's a very strong statement on his part, but I have to agree with it. I really do. Nicole.
I think Rich has been talking about this lately on Goof On, or at least he has over the last couple weeks, about what was the one with the kites? These crazy Japanese or kites that
drone kites.
Yes. Well, my son got a foam LED glider for his birthday, and I was throwing it around the front yard, and I thought of your show, and I was like, "Yep, UFO hunting just became almost non-existent.
Impossible.
Sky watching. It's just it's going to be too hard. There's no way. 15 years ago, drones weren't in play, and now drones with CGI and all the cool tech just getting cooler and smaller and quieter and more advanced. Yeah, it's the death. It's the death of the UFO video.
That's really too bad, and that's a remarkable point. Rich, I'm going to save you for last on this one because I know you're going to have a lot to say, and I want to give you the freedom of time when we get to that point. Roy, let's bring you in here now. We may have to carry your answer over into the second part here as we only got about 90 seconds. Do you think video footage of anything weird, strange, supernatural is dead as evidence now?
Maybe right now, but like I said before, our technology is steadily increasing. So as technology increases and we get maybe drones or something that's, like she said, is quieter, more discreet, we should be able to catch more things out there in the wilderness or wherever we're trying to find. So yeah, it goes. We're going to go as far as technology takes us.
I get that, but I mean, the way people are faking things, the way that they are trying for that 15 minutes of fame, Roy, or that 100,000 or million hits on a video, right, on a YouTube video that they've monetized, where they're going to make, you get 1 million hits on a video, you're making money off of that.
Right. Yeah, but, we have a saying that says real recognizes real. And remember, I told you guys, I got hooked on Dave Schrader's show when he debunked a guy who had these EVPs, and one was just a fake EVP. So, with the people here in our paranormal community who's great at research and debunking, we'll be able to debunk the ones who's faking it, and the ones that's real, we'll be able to tell what's real and what's fake.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a good way to put it, gentlemen. Lady, I'm going to get you to hold on right here because we are going to go to break at the top of the hour on Spaced Out Radio, and we appreciate it. We got a fantastic panel. 1 hour down, 2 hours to go here on the mighty SOR Paranormal Roundtable. We do it near the end of each month, looking back at the month that was. And when we come back, we're going to get Corrence, the booking guy's opinion, and Little Richie G's opinion when it comes to video footage of UFOs, Bigfoot, ghosts. Is it dead, or can we still look at that and use those video samples as evidence? The roundtable continues right after this on Spaced Out Radio.
Are we clear?
We're clear.
Okay.
I'll be right back, guys. You guys talk.
All right,
away. And remember, we're still live on YouTube and Spreaker, guys, so no swearing.
Can I go pee? Just kidding.
I'm going to throw in a more positive spin on the answer I gave. I do think it's just going to be that floodwaters of anybody can throw up garbage videos, and it's just going to overwhelm everything, especially with tech. But those of us that are active in our experiences and have been doing this for decades, I don't know, it's going to like push our envelope. I know I see that stuff and I'm like, every video I see, well, I'm like, where's the other 2 camera angles? Where's the other footage? Like, really? Anybody who does this seriously, I know they have more than a cell phone that they probably have in the back of their vehicle somewhere. So we're just going to have to step up our game. Nothing wrong with that.
That's why I feel the fake can be debunked. We have people out here in the field who's very experienced, and they'll find those little quirks in there that will raise questions when it's not real footage, when it's something that's set up or whatever. But I loved your answer. That was great.
Thank you. Yeah, I was like, oh, he's being positive. I was more negative than usual, but I don't know. It's disheartening sometimes. But I think about what I try to do, and I don't know.
Yes.
It took me 20 years to get something on camera that I thought was worth a crap. Still tore down. It's still tore down, and that's okay. I'm still the best of what I got. It's not, pointing my camera going, oh, there's 6 suns. Like, here's Venus.
Hey, Corrence.
Yeah.
Hey, man, thanks for being so cool every time in the YouTube chat room, man. When I come in there, man, you're always so cool, man. Thank you.
No problem. It's good to see you there. I wish you could or had the time to interact more.
Yeah,
you got a lot to say.
Monday through Thursday, I'm at work, third shift, and I'm enjoying the show from work, and then like Friday and Saturday I've been home. So yeah.
No, that's cool. But it's good to at least see you can listen.
Oh yeah, I'm listening. Yeah, and I kind of pop in and out, man. I just love it, man. It's been about over a year now, man, and I love the SOR family, man. This is great.
Well, thanks for the support. You guys, a lot of people out there, I don't think they realize how hard Dave works, and he's not getting paid jack. So, yeah, he's for the quality of the show you guys get and some of the crap he has to put up with that you guys don't even hear about. We appreciate y'all's support. It means a lot, especially to Dave.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And you're welcome. You're welcome, too, for doing that. Usually if I think you're pretty cool, I'll be nice to you. So there you go. So I talk to my cats. I ask them, what do you think about Leroy? And they're like, yeah, he's got the same name as your uncle. You can be nice to him. So.
That's great. Corrence, you really are kind of the master of the chat room. You can have like 10 conversations going on at once, and they're in depth, and you're kind of a wizard. Kudos to you.
Well, thank you. It's much harder, I've noticed, being on the show and trying to do that in the chat. So now I understand some of the times I've heard Richie, all of a sudden Dave asks him a question. He's like, what? Oh, I was in the chat. Well, now I completely understand, because you get caught responding to people's questions or what they're saying, and then all of a sudden your name's brought up. I can empathize much better now with the guests, I guess.
It does take getting used to. It's gotten me a number of times.
90 seconds.
Oh,
guys.
yeah, it took me a second to realize I had a mute button on my headphones here, which my son had gotten me because he wants me to game with him. So, yeah.
Awesome.
Hey, thank you to Jules for the $2.99 super chat. Really appreciate that. Thank you to Cat Chaser for the super chat earlier on in the show as well. We really do appreciate it. Hey, B. Baker, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you in the chat room. Thank you for coming on in. Yeah. I'll just wait with you guys now that we have 1 minute. Barther, you did not. Don't lie like that. That's not nice. Hey, Elliot. Welcome to the show. Hi, Larry. Hi, Ross. All right. Hey, Barther, how's your mustache? All right. 30 seconds, guys. Manimal, welcome to our chat room and welcome to Spaced Out Radio Live for the first time. Thank you for tuning us on in. We appreciate that. Thank you.
30 seconds, Dave.
All right. Good way to support this show is to hit that super chat, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Give us a thumbs up, thumbs down. Here we go with hour 2.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott. Follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Facebook, Spaced Out Radio Show.
Hour number 2 of Spaced Out Radio is underway tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott. Thank you so much for being with us. Hi to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America and digitally on TalkStream Live and Revolution Radio. Remember, you can check out all of our archives for free by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Yatagon. Yatagon is your password. Use it wisely, space travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. By the way, thank you to all of our listeners who wished Bumblefoot a happy birthday yesterday. We really do appreciate that. He liked it too, he told me. And, of course, follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. The Roundtable continues. We do this near the end of each month, where we talk about the month that was in the strange and weird. And our panel tonight is fantastic. We have researcher Nicole Sakach, who works very closely with my mentor, Grant Cameron. We have Corrence, the booking guy, who does all the bookings for my guests here on the show. It's his first time doing this on this roundtable, so we're glad to have him and his mustache here tonight. Rich Giordano from Goof on YouTube, so make sure you go to his channel and hit that subscribe button. If you're a fan of us, you will definitely be a fan of Richie G's. And, of course, from the Quest podcast. It's an award-winning podcast out of Milwaukee. Parts unknown, weight unknown. We have Mr. Roy Washington. Everyone, welcome back. And, Rich, I want to start with you here on this one, okay, because I want to give you some time here on this.
Hey, Dave.
Yeah.
I need to interrupt. There's a severe interruption either on your mic or someone else's, and you're cutting out.
Oh. I thought I sounded pretty good here.
Okay, I just unmuted. I agree with Rich. I hear it too.
Yeah, I hear it as well.
Weird. I don't know what's causing that. Maybe if I turn it down just a little bit.
No, it's fine now. It's gone. It was when before, but I don't know what happened. Could have been interruption. I don't know.
All right. The YouTube chat and the other chat rooms are saying that I was clean and clear, little frosty, looking good, feeling good. All right, Rich, let's get to you on this one because I want to give you some time, and then Roy, you'll finish off this portion of the conversation that we're having about video footage being dead. Okay, can we rely, Rich, on this? Now, you started in ufology about 15 years ago, and you were running around with a camera trying to catch UFOs and breaking them down. All right, I think you're a very important voice on this when it comes to video footage and UFOs.
Now we don't have a chance, Dave. Everything has changed so much because of all the free editing software, the apps that can put a UFO right on any picture you want. You can make it. You can make it look real. I mean, the experts can tell. But when we started out back then, the software wasn't free all the time. It was you had to have to. It was a craft, more or less. And YouTube wasn't even around when I started. So as soon as YouTube hit, all the hoaxers, all the people who had this in mind, knew their talents could be used on YouTube, were showing off their skills. And the Australian UFO Wave, a bunch of other websites out there, they just put everything out there trying to trick everybody. And now we have drones. We have the software that's incredible and free. You can do anything you want. You have balloons, birds, bugs, everything else, planes. Now there's going to be 40,000 satellites from SpaceX going to be going around in the atmosphere. So we're going to see all sorts of weird reflections. This is the hardest time. I don't see how it's going to get any better, because there's going to be more toys in the sky, more business done with Amazon and their delivery drones, FedEx and whatnot. There's going to be so much stuff flying around that nobody's going to be able to tell what's a real alien off-world vehicle or a drone. And now they have remote control kites, holograms, all sorts of stuff you can put in the sky, and you would think it was really there. They even make there's screens made out of water that can actually be, this is getting to the point where we're not going to be able to know anything in the sky anymore. Unless you have a really great camera and a good critical eye and critical thinking, that you're smart enough to decipher that, which is why I'm glad I started when I did, because I'm able to go through this change and the insanity that is now, recording things in the sky, which we can never tell what is what anymore. And then you got the rockets going off here and there and everywhere. I mean, it's impossible. It really is impossible. You can tell how high my voice got. I was serious. It's impossible.
Rich, how do we go about deciphering the evidence? Like you mentioned that the pros who do this full time can tell what is real and what is fake. Okay, but for the average person out there, all right, they can't tell. Nope. They're relying on YouTube. They're relying on Facebook and Instagram and Pinterest and all of these video sharing companies out there on social media to get their information, because they're not getting it from the mainstream news. They're not getting it on television that continually, any UFO show or Bigfoot show always seems to show the same footage over and over and over again. All right? How does the public learn about this then? How do they get the information when all they want to do is learn?
Here's the thing. The great thing about this is, over this time, and especially this year, more than any other year, because people have been home, people have learned how to watch YouTube better. They've learned how to interact with each other, with their like grandma and grandpa now can talk with the kids all the time. Now they figured it out. I've never seen more people come out and use their phones as recording devices and whatnot. People are smarter now. They already, it's amazing. People can see stuff on YouTube and go, oh yeah, I've seen that before. They've spent a lot of time at home on YouTube the last 6 months watching this stuff, and I think there's been an uptick in intelligence. So I think we're on that trend. People are really seeing and understanding what they're seeing better than ever, but there's still, now we've filled the sky up with so many things, it's just got that much harder again. So it's always hard. It's the experience. If you go out and you look at the sky every night and get used to seeing the stars, know the satellites, yeah, that's the only way you could really know. But the layman, the regular observer, I don't think they'll know. But most likely they're going to say, that's got to be fake. That looks like a drone. Everybody's saying that now. So it's out there. The word's getting out. All
right, let's go to Roy Washington for the final word here on this topic. Roy, do you believe video footage of UFOs, Bigfoot, ghosts, as using it for evidence of the phenomena is real, or is it past its prime?
I was just listening to him. I believe he hit some great points. I still just believe that we will be able to, like I said, with technology getting better, we will be able to still stay in the game as far as getting that footage and everything. But it's going to take some of the very elect in this field to be able to decipher the real from the fake. You're always going to have the knuckleheads out here, so that's something we're always going to have to deal with. But whenever that real that footage comes through, I think the people who's great at debunking will be able to let us know, okay, well, this is some footage right here that we should take another look at. It's something genuine about it, and the rest get thrown to the side. But I just can't see how with technology we won't be able to be quicker and better at catching evidence.
All right, and I forgot to give Corrence, the booking guy, a shot on this one. Corrence, you get the final say on this one.
Okay, great. Sorry. I just wanted to say that this actually kind of excited me when you brought this up, in particular because the other day I'd finished up doing some work around the house in the garage I was doing. I came inside, was able to get on Richie's show and watch some goof on. And while I understand the reasoning to say it's going to be harder and harder for people to see what's fake and see what's not, I think it's people like Richie and what he does, where his experience and what he's pointing out is going to keep us as a community more in tune with what is fake and what isn't. And I really appreciated that, because just watching him and listening, I think people like him need to be given credit for what they're doing. And it was so easy for him to just point these things out. So I don't see it as much of a problem as I think some people would. Just my 2 cents on that.
Corey, do you think, though, okay, and I agree with you 100% about Richie, okay? I really do. I think he's one of the brave souls out there in this field that is not willing to say, oh, well, look at this. Is this real? Is this not? That whole clickbait kind of BS. I don't think Richie does that. And, I hate talking nice about the guy behind his back like this, but we will do that. All right? And I agree with you on that. But that being said, the public still wants their videos. They want their evidence. I don't know whether or not a company like SkyHub is going to be very effective about, putting these UFO trackers in people's houses that people can purchase to see if they have UFO activity. But it is going to be interesting to see what comes out of this, because, like Richie and Nicole and Roy all said, with the advancement of drones and the way those are taking off, and they're not going away. They are the future. They, like Amazon and other companies, want to deliver packages via drones right onto your property. All right? I mean, this is where we are going to see a lot more activity in the sky above as we start to leave the Flintstones and go more into the Jetsons type of world. So, Corey, can we rely on it, or can we ever get back to relying on video footage of anything paranormal?
Yeah, I see exactly where you're going with that. And you know what? I kind of agree with what you're saying. We've had the ability to get the footage, to get video for a long time, actually. Now, have we had things set up to capture footage that's, just spontaneous? Not necessarily. Like what you said, the SkyHub would give us that kind of ability. However, with the technology that is advanced, not on the video side, but on, like you mentioned, the drones and what we're going to be seeing in the skies, it's going to be very difficult to distinguish between what is man-made and real and what we would deem or term as alien or out of this world, if it is actually out there. And then, of course, you always have the people that just use their computers to fake it. So, yeah, that's a very valid point, Dave. The way things are going, who knows what, unless we can actually sit there and track down whatever we're looking at in these videos, it's going to be hard to tell if it's man-made or not.
That's the difficulty. And we're going to go through that for a long time, everyone, as we continue on with the SOR Roundtable here. This leads to more of a UFO question here, because for the last number of months, we seem to have had a lot of activity, a lot of news going on, Rich, when it comes to UFOs, whether it's news out of the To the Stars Academy or news about other instances with the military or the government. I mean, there's been a ton of information coming out over the last number of months, and yet September, we don't see very much happening. So my question to you is, with a United States election looming, and this topic of UFOs or UAPs, whatever you want to call them, okay, starting to warm up leading up to this fall's election, are we going to go and see the UFO topic go a little bit silent previous to the election? Or
absolutely. Oh, sorry. There's more.
But wait, there's more. Yes. Or
so what's the rest?
Or do we see this heating up because UFOs are a little bit of a hot button topic going into this year's election?
Yes and no. I mean, yeah, Trump has talked about this several times. I mean, more than any president that I can remember recently. It is a strange time in the U.S. because of the election. So I think we're going to see a slowdown. Now, I can't predict the future, but if I was to hedge a bet on this right now, I'd say it's going to slow down tremendously. But right after the election, I think there's going to be a huge uptick in UFO sightings. I think it's just going to chill out for a little bit. We're still getting reports. They're still coming in. And they are weird stuff, man. Can't explain most of them. So I don't know what that means either. Because anytime we see some of these things, they're kind of interesting, you know. It could be a UFO or a drone, but, you know, it's that good. We don't know. But, yeah, Dave, I think with the election, it's going to slow, stay steady. But I did like seeing all the mainstream media we got this year. I couldn't believe we were seeing something almost every other day.
It was incredible, absolutely. I think that we could see this pump up on the electoral side of everything, Rich. But when it comes to actual news, whether that's from Marco Rubio, whether that's from the TTSA, whether that's from anybody reporting on this subject, I don't see a lot of news coming out that's going to hit the mainstream.
Yeah, and I've been asking around, and everybody seems to be quiet. Nobody knows what anybody's doing right now. It's really weird.
Very
At least
true.
that's how it is on my end.
Yeah, mine too. Roy, what do you think about UFOs? Are we in a lull now until the election, or does this become an electoral hot-button issue?
In my humble opinion, I think like Rich said, it's going to slow down a little bit, but it may pick back up after this election. This is probably one of the more historic and important elections we've faced. Yes, it's going to calm down for right now. But after we get the new person in office, or whether it's the same guy, it'll pick back up, because I think the UFO situation and that's going to have a lot to do with us going forward in the future. And I don't know how that ties in, but that it's going to have a lot to do with our country, with our world, with us learning more about what the government knows, as far as what they have and don't have, and wherever they're storing these machines. But it's going to come out later on. But right now, the election is going to take precedence over everything.
Do you see UFOs becoming a hot button issue leading up to it? I mean, it did in the last federal election. Do you call them federal elections down there?
No.
No. Okay. Or presidential elections, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The election.
All right. All right. Sorry, token Canadian here. And, the whole point that I'm getting at regarding that is Roy, there's a lot of, and I don't want to take this down a political route because we aren't a political show whatsoever, but there's a lot of upheaval on both sides right now. Does UFOs have a place on the hot button issues like it did leading in where John Podesta was pestering the media to go after Hillary Clinton about UFOs? Trump dodged the question, but he, after the election, he has talked a lot about, UFOs. Roswell. He's talked a lot about this. So going into this one and knowing that what we know now, the creation of the TTSA, the videos from the United States Navy, the Go Fast Gimbal and Tic Tac, and the eyewitness accounts that have come out, and now Marco Rubio saying that we're taking this seriously and we want taxpayer funding to research this. I mean, to me, this sounds like UFOs is going to be a part of the political future.
Yeah, most definitely. But as far as right now, I think there's other topics that's going to dominate the debates and what we're looking at as far as getting our next leader. But yes, UFO is going to be a big part of it once we've settled into our new leadership or whatever the leadership is going to be from here on for the next 4 years. Then the UFO is going to take precedence again, and it's going to be a big part of what we're doing in the next 3-4 years.
Sounds good, my friend. Sounds good. Corrence, the booking guy. Let's get your opinion.
Okay.
Let's get your opinion on this about UFOs and the lull of September after a very, very interesting spring and summer of UFO news. And now all of a sudden we don't have any? And
well,
go ahead.
I was going to say, actually, I have 2 points to make on this. I personally think that it was encouraging to at least see well-known media types, whether you like them or not, bring up the topic and approach it with somebody who has a stature as a U.S. senator or even the president. So I think that's an encouraging event for us to see them approaching those topics. Also, as the election approaches, I'm interested to see with how the energy is changing. There's a lot of energy coming out of people right now, and I'm interested to see how that's going to affect what people are seeing, what they observe, or even activity. My line of thinking is that as the energy of the population of the world increases and changes, it can also affect things that we see. And this is a theory of mine, but things we see or events that take place. So I'm anxious to see what's going to happen. I would personally think that things might increase.
I don't know. That's going to be the hot button topic. And why, in about 30 seconds or less here, Corey, why do you think it'll increase?
Well, again, it's just a theory I have that as these energies are increasing and there's going to be a lot more, well, let's just face it, there's going to be more seeing, I don't want to go political. There's things are going to increase in the energy that may not necessarily be a good thing, but it's out there. It's all out there. And I think there will be maybe, I don't know, I'm guessing here, theories on observations, maybe people coming, because think about it. One of the theories is that UFOs and aliens are time travelers, humans from a different time. Wouldn't this be an awesome time to come back from the future and observe? I'd be like, oh, heck yeah. I want to come and see, what's going on.
I agree. My friend, you hold on, Nicole. We are going to get your opinion on this when we come back, because I know you'll have a number of points to say on this topic, being that you work closely with Grant Cameron and numerous other UFO people in this world. So let's get back to it. We are going to go to commercial here right now on Spaced Out Radio. Apparently I talked right through the music, so that's okay. My boo-boo. My boo-boo. All right. Hi, guys.
Hey. Hey.
All right.
Great show.
So far, so good. So far, so good.
So far, so good, yeah.
Yes.
Good time, good stuff, good comments, good people. Good Friday.
Good grief.
Charlie. That was great.
Is it good? It's not Good Friday.
No more joking around. I'm sorry.
We at midnight. It's midnight here in Illinois, midnight 30. So it's Saturday now.
Yeah,
I can get a little goofy.
Yeah.
You can't get goofy yet.
You wait 30 minutes. 30 more minutes.
I mean, woo hat goofy.
We got 90 more minutes. You got 90 more minutes. 90.
90 more.
90 more. 90
You're
more.
good.
Well,
It's going by fair
90
time. We've
more
already
minutes,
done
you're
90.
bound. No. You're bound to hear Hellboy one more time then.
Woohoo.
Thanks, Nathan. Trying to be a more serious, structured individual,
Yes,
and it's just not working.
What is with that? What is with that?
Got to bring more serious me back. It's hard. I don't know how to do it.
Why?
Shh.
What's the
That's what she said.
I'm just joking. I don't know. I don't know.
Tiger can't change his stripes, Rich. Come on.
I know.
Anybody? If anybody wants to feel old this week, besides Nicole, it was 30 years ago this week that AC/DC's The Razor's Edge came out.
Horrible album.
How do you figure?
Ugh. One good song on it.
Two good
That's it.
songs. Two good songs.
Oh, okay. Then it's good.
The Razor's Edge was so underrated, and nobody played that song up until Iron Man.
That's right.
It was fantastic. I remember cranking that in 1990. Thunderstruck was great, but then you go like 4 songs in, and you got like The Razor's Edge, and I was just like, oh my gosh, this is awesome.
Yeah. You're right.
I'm really surprised that AC/DC hasn't created a Stu Gerson song yet.
Stu Gerson's he can make it his own self, he can. The man's a genius. He can lift a whale up with one pinky tied behind the other. Stu Gerson, the man from down under over. He's the best man with the longest hair and the shortest body. Stu Gerson, the man. I got nothing now. Should have left on a high note. It happens.
Stu Goodison, he will pop you up.
Stu Studio.
Oh yeah, right. Stu Studio.
He's yelling in the chat room, Ma!
Meatballs.
Stu Garson. We got that. Yep, that works.
And my brownies haven't worn off, Brett. Just getting started with Stu's brownies. Stu makes the biggest, most potent brownies on the Rocky Mountains. Stu Gerson, he's even in Russia. Under 17, not permitted without parent.
Oh, thank goodness I'll be editing that. Oh, but that's okay.
That's
okay.
on YouTube.
We got like 40. Yeah, but I got to edit the show afterwards anyway, so for radio.
Then what am I doing this for?
I don't know. 30 seconds.
Dave Moore.
Freaking edited stuff.
I know.
Freaking advertising. I'm just kidding. Dave's gonna.
You know what band I'm really hooked on these days? Is Avatar. Avatar.
That's Coldplay.
No, yeah, you would be. Your mustache would be. Hold on a second.
Coldplay.
Hold on, everyone. Corey's about to hang up now with the Coldplay comments. Here we go. We passed the halfway point of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We really do appreciate it. Want to remind you that if you've missed most of this show or others, check out our free archives at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. The SOR Roundtable continues tonight with a fantastic panel. Tonight we have from GoofOn YouTube channel. Make sure you hit subscribe on that. Rich Giordano. We have The Quest, Roy Washington, researcher and experiencer Nicole Sakach, and Corrence the Booking Guy, and Corrence the Booking Guy's mustache. Two separate entities. Nicole, I wanted to bring you back in here for a quick moment here, because we were talking about UFOs. All right. We have had a lot of news in 2020 in the UFO field. All right. Some good, some not so good, some political, some not. But in September, the topic really, really took a downturn. Not much news coming out. And so do you believe this is due to the coming presidential election in the United States? Or do you think that it's just because there was no news to come out?
I think that's in part. I think there's been no news because maybe, just maybe, like we've been discussing over the last couple months, maybe people are taking this downtime to educate themselves. Maybe the media has gone, oh my God, we really don't know anything that we're talking about. We've got to educate ourselves more than just trying to hijack the Times story and regurgitate it, because it could be a serious issue in the coming election. I think there's some pandering with it right now, but I think anybody who is seriously looking at this from a political lens is riding the wave. Of course, they're going to wait till after the election at this point. Of course, we're waiting for Rubio's inquest. But honestly, until a president in a serious way makes it some sort of platform issue, it's kind of obsolete. Yeah, we've had presidents in the past, ride this kind of pop culture. It's cool to talk about UFOs and go on Jimmy Kimmel or wherever they go. And they're like, oh yeah, UFOs. I'm going to walk into office and say, show me what you got. Tell me all about it. And that's kind of still in a joking manner. They're not being serious.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
When it's debated, at a national debate between two candidates, that's when I'll kind of take it serious as a political issue. Right now, I think it's treated like, we want it to be treated like a minority social issue, but it's not. Right now, what we have is this military money investigative issue. So that's kind of the rock and the hard place we're in. We need to have one to get to the other, where us in the community, we're kind of beyond that. We want to just get to the prize in the Cracker Jack box when we have to realize that the rest of the world's also educating themselves right now. They're going, what? Nimitz isn't a joke? President Trump mentioned this a few times now. What? Rubio? What? Like, I don't know. There's old timers out there who have gone through this before, but there's also this whole new generation with the backing of TTSA, with their hat in the mix to say, regardless of the political outcome of the election, or regardless of what Rubio's can find out, TTSA is still going to push the issue and bring it to pop culture, bring it to the public. So at least that's what they say.
All right.
That's where I think
let's talk a little rock.
on.
Let's talk a little rock and roll here for a little bit here. All right, because, well, for those of you who are feeling pretty young out there and feeling sprite, it was 30 years ago that AC/DC released the Razor's Edge album. I don't know about you, but I am feeling old. Being a teenager and hearing Thunderstruck and then the Razor's Edge for the first time. Although I did hate, Rich, I will agree with you on this, I did hate that song, Mistress for Christmas. Hated it.
Oh, I don't even remember it.
Horrible song. Horrible. Anyways, quick question here, just a quick up here. Favorite AC/DC song of all time? Richie.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's impossible, but I would say what really is in my memory is Back in Black. And I remember hearing that for the first time, and I was out of my mind in love with it, Yeah, so for me, I think that's why I would pick that song, but there are so many. I don't know, but that's it for now. Shook Me All Night Long would be number 1 and 2.
Annoying,
like those
annoying song.
I love it.
Every bar, and then you always get the drunk lady at karaoke wanting to do the Brian Johnson and sing that song. All right.
What?
No, it's
terrible. Let your hair down. Oh, it's
terrible.
Beautiful.
It's terrible. All right. Roy, your favorite AC/DC song of all time?
It's We'll Be All Night Long.
Wow. You probably eat breakfast for dinner too.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I can tell. Yeah, I can tell.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Yes, I could totally tell. All right, Nicole, your favorite AC/DC song?
Na 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 thunder.
Wow,
pretty good one. It's a pretty good one.
Corrence, the booking guy, show your age here.
I'm on a highway to hell.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Too.
That's a good one.
TNT is good. That really is number 1.
My favorite AC/DC song is For Those About to Rock, We Salute You.
Oh, really?
Yes. Yes. And my second one would be It's a Long Way to the Top if you got to rock and roll.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Long Way to the Top.
Anytime you can include bagpipes in a rock and roll song, that's badass. That is badass.
They used them in the early days. They used those bagpipes.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, they used that song in School of Rock in the movie.
Oh, yeah. You're spot on, Dave. Yeah, that's a great one.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. Thank you. But this also leads to a topic that Rich did on his show, Goof On YouTube, I think it was about a week ago, and I was tuned right in on this. All right? Because, I love music as much as I love UFOs. And I can say this. Rich, you did a great job on bringing out the topics of singers and artists who have sung songs and written songs in plain sight that are literally about UFOs or ET contact. How many songs were you able to pick out with that, Rich?
Oh, I had some help with that too. I can only do so many, but there was about 30 that I found that were really good. Led Zeppelin, I think, had one. The Beatles and the Doors. Pink Floyd, of course. Even Tom DeLonge and his group would have Blink 182 had some stuff. It was a lot of stuff, man. A lot of all eras too. It didn't stop.
I know. I mean, it's incredible. The only one that I truly, truly know of is Van Halen's "Love Walks In," because
that's crazy.
Because if you look at the entire lyrics of that is written about the dimensional being that Sammy Hagar says has been taking him since a young age. And he describes her very well in the song. And Rich, I'm going to continue on with this with you. I mean, when you see these artists who are writing songs about ET contact or UFOs, I mean, how have we missed this for all these years?
Yeah. Well, that's weird. It seems like I was able to pick up on several of these over the years. This has been something I've always followed. I never talked about it. I always forget about talking about it. And when I was reminded of the Van Halen one by you, I think, and I'm like, oh my God, that's right. I can't believe I forgot about that. Was like the biggest one of the time. Yeah, it's amazing. Sammy Hagar, a lot of celebrities and musicians have quite good stories, and I'm not sure if it's a mixture of that lifestyle and whatnot, but even when they're not having a good time, they have these experiences and they write about it, or it goes into their acting and stuff like. It's just amazing to see the writing of musicians, artists alike, and just talk about aliens. Man, it's wild. It makes you think.
My favorite one, I can't say it on the air, and I know this is Captain Shirk's favorite song, is Rob Zombie's "Everybody's Effing in a UFO."
Oh, yeah.
That's a good one. But anyways, do you have a favorite, Rich, before I get to the other?
A favorite alien? It would be I love that Van Halen song, so Love Comes Walking In. That hits it to me. I don't know why.
Well, here's another few. Megadeth.
Hits it to me?
Megadeth has a song called Hangar 18.
Right.
Which is the song's lyrics were written by drummer Nick Menza. Apparently they say he was inspired by Close Encounters of the Third Kind. I think he's got aliens personally. The Ramones, Zero UFO, which is kind of weird, comes after Blitzkrieg Bop and all that kind of stuff. That's a good one. I don't know. I don't remember the group Saxon. I'm reading a list off of Kerrang.
Oh yeah,
the music magazine Kerrang. Saxon had a song called "Watching the Sky." Not only does it mention government conspiracies, but it also points out how ridiculous the likelihood of Earth being the only planet with intelligent life is. All right, Muse and Starlight. The Misfits, I Want to Turn Into a Martian. Ace Frehley's all about the aliens. His song, Space Invaders.
Oh.
Yeah. How about you, Roy? How about you?
I don't know too many, I'm trying to think. I don't know too many songs I've heard that dealing with the aliens. But, you kind of got my attention when you said Ace Frehley. Because Kiss was one of my favorite groups growing up. And, he's the star man. Rocking out, So, I'm a big fan of Ace Frehley and Peter Criss and all those guys from Kiss.
Right.
Yeah, remember they had the movie that they put out where they were doing karate and fighting aliens and demons in the amusement park. Remember that old movie they put out back in the day?
I don't recall that one, man. No offense.
Yeah, Kiss had a movie. They were doing karate and fighting in fighting some bad guys. And
they were at an amusement park.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that was. Yeah, I remember that. I was a big Kiss fan, so yeah, I watched that.
Yeah. Calling Dr. Love. That's one of my favorite from their catalog.
How about Flock of Seagulls? I ran so
Right.
far away.
Mm.
I'm going to have to look at the lyrics to that one again.
The one in Hangar 18, possibly I've seen too much. Hangar 18, I know too much. Oh, it's crazy.
Insane. Hey, Roy, let me ask you, because you're an artist and you're in the hip hop scene in Milwaukee. How come a lot of artists today aren't going as in depth? They're more talking about the social issues of what is going on today in their environment rather than going off in depth of what is personally happening to them, maybe on a supernatural scale.
Well, I know here in Milwaukee, I know a lot of times especially with these younger artists, they follow trends. So what a lot of other people are talking about, they're talking about the same thing, and you have to really be a artist who stands his ground and speak on what you want to speak on. So I speak on things that's different from what they do, and I'm sure I will have a song pretty soon coming out talking about the things that we discuss on this show and other shows as well. But you still have the younger artists wanting to talk about guns and everything, stuff that's going on in the street, battling in the street and everything. But I'm coming from more of a conscious level. But yeah, people kind of follow trends. But to be an effective artist, you have to follow your heart, and I think the listeners will come when you follow your heart and put out music that's straight from your heart and from what you really feel.
Love it. Nicole, what's your favorite song based on UFOs and aliens?
Oh, I think I'm beyond just the songs or songs that mention aliens or extraterrestrial. I've kind of broadened my view of this as, looking at it as the phenomenon. And it's not just artists that have seen something in the sky, although that is a lot of it. There is quite a number of artists that continue to have experiences after a sighting. And they will say that their art, and we're talking about music right now, their music will come to them as a download. Like they didn't work out the song, they didn't hammer it out with the band, it was given to them. And I think we see some reflections of this, that it's not only just one song, but if you dig deeper, it's an entire album. And it's not just an album, it's an album, that reached millions and millions of people. It was a number one, or it's a band or a group or a singer-songwriter that has stood the test of time. And I don't know, I'm kind of digging into newer artists right now. Like I have some contenders, and Grant has literally written a book on this, or a section of a book on this. And he talks about, some older groups like we've discussed just now, but then there's some newer ones on the list like Kesha. And I have some suspicions about Ellie Goulding's song Lights. And I think in the chat room I just said Blinding Lights by The Weeknd. But if I had to say my favorite, I think if anybody has followed my experiences and what I've shared online, or maybe some of my local pals, they know when I'm trying to do my thing with the phenomenon, I tend to crank Dave Matthews, which we've heard he's an experiencer, and we know his albums, several of them have gone number one. And you see a lot of interesting songs of his, that kind of play with not just aliens, but the phenomenon and how we know it as experiencers, not just a pop culture UFO or gray alien sort of thing. So I could go on and on about music.
Oh, Dave?
Yeah, go ahead, Roy.
really quickly, I just want to say we was talking. I was talking about just writing from your heart. The first song ever written was a song called "Ghost in the Night." It was kind of like almost like a 28 Days Later type of song, and that's when I was in the military, and that first song I ever performed in front of captains and generals, and they loved it. So, and that was me as a baby in the game coming up. So, yeah, just like I said, just writing what you feel and what inspires you, and so I'm sure I'll be doing more of that material down the line.
I want to hear it, man. I want to hear it. When you do that, you got when you start writing and start producing these songs, Roy, you got to bring them onto our show so that way we can play them.
Yes, sir.
That'd be awesome. Absolutely awesome. We've got about, let's see here, 3.5 minutes before we go to break at the top of the hour. The SOR Roundtable continuing right after this. There's a lot of interesting comments in our chat room about this. Let's see here. Flight 19 by Angel Witch. Thank you, Renee. Yeah. Joe Satriani, Surfing with Aliens. Flesh Wound put out Planet Caravan.
Surfing with the Alien.
Kimberly put out Journey's Wheels in the Sky Keep on Turning. That's kind of interesting. All right. Lance had one about Motorhead, about Lemmy Kilmister singing about UFOs in the song Victory or Die. Oh, yes, Remy, I forgot about this one. 99 Red Balloons. Remember Nania, the German song? 99 Luftballons. Yeah. It's about UFOs floating in the summer breeze.
And the band ELO.
Oh, man. Yeah,
the Electric Light Orchestra.
Ideas.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even Styx.
Mm-hmm.
How about the Ramones, 00 UFO?
Yes.
Yeah, Styx, Come Sail Away. Thank you, Jules.
How about Rush?
The Moody Blues.
Yeah, Moody Blues. What song is that?
They're like an album. They're a couple.
Are you talking about
album
Nights
ones.
in White Satin? You said Moody
well,
Blues.
that's probably. Yeah. What's the one I was thinking of where it's more of a time travel song?
Out there, are you somewhere out there?
Time.
Yeah, are you out somewhere out there?
Yeah.
I remember when. Yeah.
Oh my God, we're not doing karaoke here. We're not doing karaoke.
Okay, well, if you're gonna go conspiracy, you have to have Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds' Red Right Hand.
What's that one about?
Are you kidding?
Bring it.
You haven't watched the X-Files. Oh my God!
I've never watched the X-Files. No, never watched the X-Files. Red Right Hand. Look it up. Look it up on YouTube. Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds' Red Right Hand. Just look up the lyrics. It's amazing. Well, let's see here. CCR. Where did I see this here? It Came Out of the Sky. And let's see here.
Oh, there you go.
The Cyberman by Black Sabbath, or Black Sabbath's Geezer Butler. Spaceman by a Canadian artist named Biff Naked. Fantastic song, by the way. Blondie's Rapture, according to Pastor Keith. Amen to you, Pastor Keith. You know? So there's a lot of music.
I still can't believe you guys aren't more on 00 UFO. Just look at the lyrics. It's all about.
I'll check it out. And for the record, as we get ready to go to break here at the top of the hour, self-confession here for those who don't know me. I've never seen an X-Files episode. I've never seen a Star Trek episode. And I've never seen a Doctor Who or Supernatural episode. And I've never watched Lord of the Rings. And I've never watched The Walking Dead. Nothing. I am boring.
Yeah.
So, on that note, we're going to go to break here at the top of the hour. The SOR Paranormal Roundtable continues on Spaced Out Radio. We have 1 hour left in our roundtable discussion. Where the topics will go, nobody really knows until we actually get there. Nicole Sakach, researcher. Corrence, the booking guy. The Quest podcast host, Roy Washington. And from Goof On, Little Richie G. We continue on Spaced Out Radio, coming up Hour 3 next. You know what's really cool about the new system, Richie?
What is that, Dave?
I don't have a mute button anymore. I have these sliders on my soundboard.
So you can mute yourself a little?
So I can pull.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And I
Nice.
go like this, and you get to hear me. All right.
That's awesome. I love that. Well, I have that, I guess, too.
Yes, it's fun.
In the
you
open.
guys chat. I'll be right back.
Well, I wasn't comparing to show who's bigger.
I'll be right back.
Damn it. I was just saying, oh, yeah, I just remembered. I got a slider, too. I think we all do. No, that's cool, man. He's had a lot of issues with the audio. Now it seems beautiful. He sounds crisp and clean and fancy-free.
Yeah, it sounds really good.
Yeah. Yeah, everything looks great. Sounds good.
I would like to know why he hasn't seen an episode of X-Files and some of those other shows.
I'm in shock right now. I can't speak.
I think that should be one of the. I think that he should give an explanation as to why.
It should be a requirement to be in the field.
Right.
Yeah, we got to know the answer. I think the answer is he just never cared for it. I think I've asked him this before. I don't know. I don't know if he even was allowed to watch TV.
It's because he doesn't want outside entertainment propaganda seeping into the purity of what he knows.
Yeah, come on. It's TV for crying out loud. Then never go outside because you never know what's going to happen. Same thing.
I don't know. I haven't had cable in like 12 years, but it's still like, those you find those shows and that's what you binge watch when you have the flu. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't.
But that's something I think everybody in the field should have been required to watch. And besides, that would have been like, you don't watch it now, you watch it when it came out type of shit.
Right.
How did he not watch it even when it came out? It was the #1 show on Fox for how many seasons? Aren't you curious?
Well,
I didn't
not even
watch
then. Watch it now.
Right.
I'm with Richie on this one. Yeah.
I'm a little sick right now.
Yeah, that blows my mind. Right?
Star Trek
more
too.
upset by Star Trek. Yeah.
Yeah, man. No doubt. All of the Star Treks. Not one episode didn't have a curious nose to like, well, what's this about? Oh, that's interesting. Nah, it's not.
Wait, he hasn't watched any of the Star Trek, not even the old, not even the new Next Generation, none of them?
I'll be honest, I don't know if he meant all of them, because he just said Star Trek.
I think he meant all of them.
I bet he. Yeah.
Notice he did not say Star Wars.
No, I think he had. I think he just watched that with his son. So I think he just now watched it.
Here.
Somebody watched it. I don't remember. Should be a requirement. X-Files. Rebel?
So Star Galactica and
Star Galactica.
Space 1999.
All the sci-fi.
Oh, Space 1999. I had my son watch that with me the other day. I got it, and he just went off on the whole premise of what happened. If anybody's familiar with what actually takes place, how it starts, my son is extremely scientific, and he was.
Wow.
You got to know. You got to understand how the moon is blown out of orbit by a nuclear waste dump that explodes, and it's all obviously that's not possible. But anyway,
that's how it actually got into the show. That's what happened.
Traveling. Yeah, that's how it started. There's a nuclear waste site on the moon, and something goes wrong. And it explodes. It's been a while since I saw exactly how it happens, but it explodes and it shoots the moon on this trajectory out of the solar system. So this American and British space station is on the moon. It's a station on the moon.
Oh.
And all these people are there. So it travels out of the solar system and then encounters different civilizations as it goes on.
What?
Yeah,
Space
you got to watch.
1999, they had the spaceships.
Yeah.
They did have spaceships.
I don't remember a moon.
It was the moon they were on. It was
wow. No,
watch it again.
That's Battlestar Galactica. Oh, maybe I'm confusing them.
1 minute, guys. 1 minute.
I'm confusing them. You're right. I'm sorry.
Hey, I want to give a big shout out to Lee Bodge jumping in and passing over a super chat. I have £1 or 99.99 cents of a pound, which I think is like $2 Canadian, to be honest.
Nice.
Somewhere around there. Thank you, Lee Bodge. Thank you, Jules and Cat Chaser, for the super chats tonight. Really do appreciate that. Also, a big thank you to everybody who has hit subscribe on our YouTube channel tonight. Give us a thumbs up, a thumbs down. We got 119 people tuning on in live tonight so far. It's been a blast to have you guys as we go for hour number 3. Great way to support what we do. Join our Space Travelers Club on our website for just $5 a month. And, of course, get some SOR swag at the vault on our website. It's always a good thing to do. Here we go, everyone, with hour 3, pardon me. Just a couple seconds here. Here we go.
Would you like to connect with us? Head to spacedoutradio.com for all your latest show info. Now, back to Dave Scott and SOR.
Third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio is underway tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott. Thank you so much for tuning us on in. We really do appreciate that, especially if you're listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America and digitally on TalkStream Live and Revolution Radio. Remember, you can check out all of our archives for free by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Oh, Clam, you did it to us again. Yet again. Yadagan is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets a password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. We have Rich Giordano from Goof On YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe on his channel. Podcaster extraordinaire and award winner, Roy Washington with The Quest. We have Nicole Sakach, researcher for Grant Cameron and an experiencer herself. And Corrence, the booking guy, for coming on in, joining us for the roundtable tonight. We really do appreciate all of you joining in. And we're going to stick with the celebrities. Now, we ended last hour kind of talking about UFO music. But there are a number of celebrities out there who claim to have had some sort of experience, whether it's paranormal, supernatural, ufological. There's a number of experiences out there, but we never hear the big names, okay? You don't hear a Jennifer Aniston or a Tom Cruise or a John Travolta or a Morgan Freeman coming out and saying it. It always seems to be the actors who are looking to get one final shot at some sort of 15 minutes of fame, and we see that all the time in these shows. No, so this or last week, I had Canadian recording artist and award-winning artist Ashley McIsaac on the show with Merle on Ghosts of the Great White North, and he was telling us some incredible stories, including a photograph that his cousin caught of 4 UFOs over his stage while he was performing out east. It was incredible. So my question is, and Corrence, we'll start with you on this one. Why do you think so many celebrities have a fear of coming out and talking about these subjects publicly? They may write about them in books, they may write about them in song, but to actually sit down and say, look, I'm an ET experiencer, or I played on a haunted stage, we rarely hear that.
Well, the immediate and obvious answer is just simply going to be career reasons. They don't want to harm their career, harm their perception. It's unfortunate, but it's a reality that experiencers have to endure. Just us regular people who aren't in the public spotlight, we endure criticism and people laughing at us if we bring up some of the things we've experienced. Imagine what somebody who's in the public spotlight, they say something like that, and if they're in a position where they could lose as much as some of them can, it's difficult. It has to be difficult to bring that out. It's one thing for a person in a political arena who really doesn't have much to lose. They're just going to do what they do to say something like that. But somebody like Ashley, to say what he said, it was pretty amazing, in my opinion. And it was extremely brave of him to come out and do that. That's how I feel.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. And I understand that it probably has a lot to do with reputation, with contracts, with people performing. And you want to continue on those gigs. And you don't want to, ruin it at any chance possible, especially if you're at the top of the game at that point, because we all know that fame is fleeting. So, Corrence, do you think that a lot of these people are staying silent because they just don't want their name associated with the topic?
Definitely. I think there are a lot that are just going to keep whatever they may experience to themselves, simply because of the ramifications of them coming out and then being associated with a group that many people look at, or they look down upon, to be honest. It's just, that's what it is. They're scared.
I don't blame you. Roy, I bring you in here. You have a number of people that you know in the entertainment industry, and I'm sure the topic has come up in conversation about ghosts or UFOs or anything strange, and from people you have talked to, is this a taboo subject when it comes to being an entertainer, whether it's an actor or a musician or even an athlete?
Yeah, it's sort of a taboo situation. When we first started, we used to record in my guy's attic, and there's this guy that was entity that was in the attic that I'm speaking on a issue coming up. They used to wear a polka dot suit and run through their house at night. There's an entity up there in the attic there. But I want to get into Corey Taylor of Slipknot. I listened to probably one of my favorite interviews ever. Listened to his interview a few years ago. He was on Darkness Radio talking about him and his band renting out this big place, and I think it's in California. And he said a lot of bands go there when they're going to record an album. They're there for a month or whatever recording. And he said it was just so much paranormal stuff that went on there, like the sheets being snatched off you while you're in the bed. One room was so cold while the rest of the house was warm. One room was so cold that you could see your breath, and you had to wear a jacket in there, and doors slamming and everything. And he said a lot of groups have experienced the same thing in this one particular house that a lot of groups rent out just to go and record an album for 2-3 weeks, a month or whatever. And that was a great interview he did. And he came out and talked to Dave Schrader about it. But, you don't get a lot of them coming out and really sharing that with the world outside of the paranormal community.
Very true. So, Roy, why is this a taboo subject? Is it because of the potential of losing that recording deal or that movie contract, or is it more because they just don't want to be known as a weirdo? I mean, let's face it, people who are entertainers, they have their own quirks. So to me, it doesn't make sense why they would kind of be a little bit sheepish about talking about these subjects publicly with what they've experienced.
Yeah, it seems like it used to be very taboo, and that it seems now that with a lot of the different shows is on TV, people are being more confident coming out talking about their experiences. So I don't see why they would be so so bashful about talking about it. There's a show I watch on YouTube that has some of the celebrities talking about different situations that they have been in, entities that they have seen, and places that they have lived in that had activity. So I don't know. It seems like it's not the same as it used to be. It used to be where people really want to send you to the nut house, but now people are more open with talking about that now. But we're not as far along as we think, and that's why people still keep it hush hush.
Nicole, I bring you in here on this topic. Would you like to see more celebrities come out? And I'm not talking the people who were celebrities back in the 70s and 80s and are now trying to make a name for themselves again. All right, or the one-hit wonders that are out there. I'm talking about the bigger name celebrities that are out there today, whether they've been around for 25, 30, 40 years or whether they've been around for the last 5 to 10. Would you like to see more of them come out and explain their experiences publicly?
To kind of crack a joke, I'll say some of them, yeah, but on your initial list, you threw out too many Scientologists for me to take that kind of seriously. I mean, to me, Scientologists are kind of like the forgotten stepchild of ufology. It's like none of us want to claim them as ufologists. And I mean, they believe in an alien, Xenu. So, I mean, there are those that come out in Scientology. We all know those celebrities, Tom Cruise, John Travolta, endless others. We also hear the horror stories of Scientology as well and how it's cult-like. And I think a lot of celebrities are leery to talk about anything that they don't necessarily understand. And a lot of experiences go hand in hand with some sort of life trauma. So you don't necessarily air all your dirty laundry. And it's probably a publicist too. They're like, no, now's not the time to talk about your UFO encounter. Right. But times have changed a little bit. The chat room has thrown out a couple interesting ones. Like Cashew talked about Kurt Russell. He reported the Arizona lights, or the Phoenix lights from the sky. He was the pilot. And Muhammad Ali on the Johnny Carson show. I mean, there has been numerous others. I think it's interesting to look at the celebrities who have signed the wall at the International Roswell Museum. There's some interesting names on there, like Demi Moore. So I think celebrities come out in their own way, just like the rest of experiencers do.
Makes sense. Corrence, the booking guy, you wanted to chime in.
Yeah, Dave, I was thinking about this, and on a personal level, I actually have two people I'm not going to name who they are, but I know one person, he's in my family, owns a company, runs his own business, and has had many, many experiences, not only in the supernatural, but the paranormal, UFO-related, alien type. He is scared to death that anything he says would harm his business and then harm his ability to provide for his family. On the other hand, I also know somebody who has many supernatural experiences, has abilities, and throughout her whole life has been, for two different reasons. One, has not wanted to talk about it because on her side, a part of her family is very religious, and they look down upon that greatly. It's of the devil, what have you. On the other hand, again, there's that concern that the knowledge getting out could harm her career that she's in. And unfortunately, I'm applying on a regular person kind of scale up to a bigger scale with much more exposure in the celebrity arena. I think that just exponentially increases the impact it would have on their career. That's just my opinion.
I agree with you on that. And, I know I work for, my daytime job. I work for a person who is very Christian, but does believe in UFOs and that there is life out there. But he also knows that due to his position, there are certain people he cannot have that conversation with. Now, he can with me because I'm a weirdo, all right? But for the most part, he can't have that conversation, especially with people within his own church. And he's quite the debater, and he is somebody who has had in-depth conversations with others from his church that he is closer to. But there is a huge component of that. Rich, I'm going to give you final word on this in regards to this topic. Do you think that there is a logical explanation for why many people don't come out about their experiences?
Without trying to repeat what everybody else said, yeah, I think it really has to do with depending on who you are. I remember when Dan Aykroyd came out in 2005 on a documentary, and it was a joke. It was all artsy. He was trying to look cool and suave. It just turned me off as well as many other people. And I think that may be why. It depends on who you're going to make the documentary with and all sorts of stuff. There's a lot of factors that go in where you don't look silly. And I think that's what they think. We will think that they look silly, or they may lose a contract because of it. Maybe that person has a different belief that they signed a contract with. Maybe Nike believes in one thing and they believe in UFOs, so they feel they have to break that contract. You never know how deep it goes with some people. They take it too personal.
Oh, that's very true. Very true.
So that's that.
All right, let's move on here, as we have about 6.5 minutes to go before we go to break at the bottom of the hour of the SOR Roundtable tonight. We haven't talked anything about ghosts yet, all right? And one of the topics I put out there for our daily Thought of the Dave that we normally do, and we end each show with it, is talk about, paranormal subjects. And one of the topics we brought up was about television. Now, this isn't about, jumping down what is real and what is fake on the current television shows. It's about improving them, and it's about trying to make them more real. And we've had a lot of really cool suggestions. And I don't want this to be, a beatdown of what we see on television on a daily basis here, because Paranormal TV over the last decade has been some of the highest rated programming that is out there, next to probably, all of these home renovation shows in the NFL. And I got to say, the suggestions that I've seen from a lot of our audience members was about making the shows more real or documentary style. So, Nick, I'm going to start with you on this one, Nicole. All right? If you were producing a television show, it doesn't matter the topic, ghosts, UFOs, Bigfoot, whatever it may be, what would you want to include on there? What do you think needs to be included on there to bring new life and new spark to paranormal television?
Well, I would say the playbook of every show we see right now needs to just be chucked. I mean, it's the same, whether we're, treasure hunting on Oak Island, whether we're stomping around haunted locations, or we're tracking Bigfoot. It's like the same programming it's like watching a soap opera. When you're a fan of Days of Our Lives, it's like, when Stefano's going to make his entrance, or Marlena's going to get kidnapped, or somebody's going to come back to life. It's played out, and everybody knows that it's scripted reality, or It's not even a true documentary. There's too much editing involved. I think people want to see the behind the scenes. They want to see a truly unscripted show. Maybe more on the lines of what's the show where they throw people out in the woods for 100 days to win $100,000 all alone, or now they're in a group or something. But just this cut off, give people all the equipment they need, cameras rolling 24/7. It is what it is. Let's do this. But as far as something we haven't seen before, I've been really digging into physical mediumship and the idea of these seance circles. And someone that comes to mind is, I call him Rev Kev in my head, but Kevin Lee talks a lot about his metaphysical chapel and some of the mediums that they have that come, and all the protocols involved with making sure that these rooms and these circles are not hoaxed or not set up. There's not these, there's always a debunker. Somebody wants to figure out the tricks involved. I think a show based on something like that would be phenomenal. And these people that are truly doing this and practicing this, they welcome it being studied. So, I don't know what kind of ratings television stations are looking to get, but to me, this whole field doesn't need to be scripted like that. It doesn't need to be henpecked. It just needs allowed to be shown. So,
well, one of the things I found interesting was we had Chuck Bergman on the show, the psychic cop, and he was working with A&E one time on a show. And one of the things that he stated was the fact that he did a psychic reading for for the show. And while he was going through his predictions, the people who he was reading in trying to find, how the loved one passed was so accurate that A&E actually cut it out of the show because they said nobody is going to believe that. The viewers are not going to believe that this actually happened. They're going to think this was all scripted and made up. So they actually cut the scene out. And how much of that is on the editing room floor, Nicole, knowing that there's potential reality there that is so real that they're refusing to show it due to the fact that it could be unreal?
I think the bulk of it ends up on an editing floor just because it doesn't fit some sort of preordained narrative that has been planned, in some way, shape, or form. And you hear this from experiencers in the field who have been around for a long time. Like, I know Grant has spoken a few times about how shows ask him to come on and speak on a topic, but then they get mad because he doesn't want to stick to a cue card or say exactly what they want him to say. So he just doesn't do stuff anymore. Or I know Jim Peniston has had his tiffs over the years about so much of his story being edited out of these little clips of shows that include Rendlesham Forest. It's like they never get it quite right because they go for this narrative they already have in place. So
that's the scary part. What is the narrative? What is actually going on? And for everybody else here in the chat rooms, and on our panel, we will continue with this talk as we are getting ready for break at the bottom of the hour. And yes, we have a great panel with us tonight on Spaced Out Radio from the Quest podcast, award-winning podcast, Roy Washington. We have Nicole Sakach, researcher for Grant Cameron. We have Corrence, the booking guy. And if you're not familiar with Little Richie G, we have him too here on Spaced Out Radio. So make sure that you're all tuned on in for the next half hour of the show, because we're going to take this thing home in the final half hour of the SOR Roundtable with the panel. All right, we're clear. Good discussion so far. Good discussions tonight.
I'm hearing like some sort of bumping or something on a microphone or something.
I'm hearing that too.
Not me. It's Corrence.
Roy, did you fall asleep?
No, I'm right here with you guys.
Oh, it's Nicole's fan, maybe.
No, that's Bob that falls asleep and starts snoring.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That was awesome.
Classic
Have
show.
anything running.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's funny? I mentioned 2 characters in Days of Our Lives, and I haven't even watched that show in
Sure.
20
You probably
years.
got a crush on Jack there. Hey, I'm Jack.
When I was in school, it's like, oh, Days of Our Lives is on. And it's you could tune in at once every 5 years, and it's still the same.
Only soap opera I ever watched was when I was in high school, Santa Barbara, and some girl at school watched it, and I was trying to impress her, so I started watching it to impress her to see what was going on. And never quite got the I guess thrill that they got, but that's the only time I ever watched a soap. Other than Soap, the comedy. I did watch that. That was funny.
Well, we all know, Corrence, you have a real crush on B. Arthur from the Golden Girls.
Oh, I do. She was in the Marines. She was a hottie.
Hey, you guys, I don't mean to talk out on you guys, because I think everybody here is a pro wrestling fan. But come on, wrestling is like a guy's version of a daytime soap opera.
What are you doing?
It's
What
the same
are
play.
you talking about?
She's right.
It's terrible.
Okay, it is, but it's also physically it is real.
Yeah.
Okay, what they go through, these athletes, is unbelievable. Watch some of the. I've been watching some of the things that Roddy Piper, his interviews that he did before he died. Oh my gosh, what these guys endured for the money they got paid back then.
It's brilliant. Their acting is terrible, though. Their acting is daytime soap opera.
How can you call Roddy Piper bad acting? That was fantastic acting.
He was.
You know, I heard. You know, guys, I heard something that was funny. You remember the Harlem Heat?
Yes.
Yeah.
Stevie Ray, well, both of them, Booker T and Stevie Ray, they both had their own podcasts. But on Stevie Ray's podcast, he was talking about a time when a bunch of the wrestlers they were in a town in San Antonio for a show, and remember Haku? He had the mandible claw.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Haku got into a fight with a cowboy in this club and put the mandible claw on this guy, and the guy was really about to pass out for real. It's like, man, that mandible claw really works. Yeah, Stevie Ray had to pull Haku off the guy, get him out of there. But, yeah, the guy locked into the mandible claw, and the guy was about to pass out and go crazy.
You know, it would suck, honestly, even to today. It would suck being a wrestler, knowing at everywhere you go, you can't even go out to a club or a lounge for a drink or a beer afterwards because there's going to be somebody there who wants to challenge you.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what Stevie Ray said, that he was the guy that kind of deflated those situations and said, hey, let me buy you a beer or something. We're not here for no problems, you know. But yeah, Haku really put that move on somebody, and it worked for real.
Wow. That is crazy. Yeah, I highly recommend you guys go on YouTube, look up Roddy Piper's interviews he did prior to his death. He talks about a lot of the wrestlers you're mentioning right now. And they'd go out, go to these clubs, go to the bar, and stuff that would happen to them, and then the repercussions or what would happen afterwards. Just something to be very interesting.
Now, Roddy Piper also said that, I forget who the wrestler was that was a good friend of his who passed away, but that wrestler started haunting Roddy Piper's house.
Wow.
His friend.
Yeah.
That was his friend.
Yeah. Who was it though?
I can't remember.
I can't remember either.
I could find out in 2 seconds, though. Hold on.
It starts with an M. Was it the...
Starts with an M?
I don't even remember. And this as we say goodbye to the Road Warrior Hawk this week. Hold on, guys. Here we go. We rounded third. We're heading for home tonight on Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us tonight. We really do appreciate it. I want to remind all of you that if you've missed most of this show or others, check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. For the final time tonight, we introduce the panel of tonight's show, and that is from Goof On YouTube channel, Rich Giordano, from the Quest podcast, award-winning podcaster, Roy Washington. We have Corrence, the booking guy, who does all of the bookings for the guests that we do here on Spaced Out Radio. And, of course, we also have our good friend, Nicole Sakach. Everyone, welcome back to the program.
Glad to be back.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. So, Nicole was chatting a little bit about the UFO side of everything and the reality that we need to try and get into with paranormal television. And, Rich, I want to bring you in here on this one because I think you're going to have a lot to say on this. So, if Richie G was bringing Goof On to the mainstream television, what do you think would need to be done in order to change the look of paranormal TV?
There's only one thing, and Nicole already touched on it, whereas you have to go to a location, put cameras everywhere and whatever else you need, and you have to live there for a year and constantly have it recording live. I don't know how many channels, whatever you need, but everybody can go check in on it at any time. Advertisers just place their ad up it's just constantly watching what's going on there. And these people live in that environment. And then they do regular ghost hunts. If they ever hear a door slam, they get their equipment, start running around. It could be an interesting yet boring at sometimes television. So my idea was to run it for a year straight. Maybe nobody would say yes, but maybe on YouTube you can do it. Or 6 months. I mean, it's got to be a long time so you could be at the location and live with it. That's what people need to see. They need to see all the silverware. They need to see all the chairs. They need to see the floors, every angle. It's a lot of money that would have to go into it. But I think that's what I would like to see. Have the people in on it. I think I saw something, and people comment all day and night.
Kind of like a reality paranormal show where the cameras are always running. That's almost like the Truman Show, except for the
Exactly.
paranormal.
Well, exactly. Unedited, though.
Like MTV's The Real World, yeah.
Like The Real World, but unedited. That's yes. Got a little storyline. Now, that's the thing. You do this, and then you're always going to be wondering in the back of your head, they're faking it, so it's never going to go away. That would be a nice step in a different direction. I would like to see, I'm just throwing a name out there, but the Ghost Adventures crew, see how they are, in that normal environment 7 days a week. I don't know. Maybe I like seeing Zach in a tight T-shirt.
Of course you do.
I'm joking.
Of course you do. All right, let's...
Go ahead,
Rich.
Good? You don't like it? You don't want to comment?
No.
Good?
No.
You don't like that?
Paranormal State Crew do that.
I'm teasing. I'm teasing.
No, really. Don't you think that's a great idea?
No, honestly, I do believe it's a fantastic idea. I just don't know a mainstream television channel that could run that, with that, without editing. Because if your show is on a Sunday and you only have every Tuesday, or you have something happen on Tuesdays, you can't really switch the nights. You know what I'm saying?
That's tough. Yeah, it's the way it's got to be done.
Yeah, you almost need like a YouTube channel to do it.
It would have to be. No mainstream for that. But mainstream, it's always scripted. They need the ratings. People like seeing things move. So, you never trust it.
Gotcha. All right, let's bring in Roy. Roy, if you were setting up Roy's paranormal television show, what would you be doing?
I'd have to say the same thing that they said. Just run the cameras.
See?
7, yeah. That's to me, it's the best way to do it. Maybe 6 months to a year, and edit edit all the good stuff, like you said, Real World or some of these other shows, and present it to the audience at a later date, and then maybe with it already being edited and everything, the people who are actually in there, they can look along with the audience and talk about, well, see right there when that specific date when the chair moved, this is what happened, and but yeah, you already have all the best footage from that time span already edited and everything like that. So,
and just to add,
but I think that would be a great idea.
You bring in animals too, like a dog, maybe a bird, some fish. See how they act in that environment. Something different.
Yeah, a couple dogs would be great in that environment. Yeah, because they really sense things.
Plants, and then you also have barometric readers on the walls to see if there's any change in the atmosphere. Oh, there's so much you could do.
Yeah.
Yeah, you plunk down a sky hub, and then you do your reality show, and there's cameras everywhere. But then everybody wears a body cam too.
Yes.
Right.
Let's do this. I got a checklist. Shit I want to try throughout the year.
5 paranormalists want to spend a life together in this house.
Me and Archbishop James Cloud.
Imagine you have a circle type situation, like a new group that wanted to, over the course of a year, test out CE5 or this same circles like I was talking about, going through the motions of the entire process, seeing, the first time doing it, nothing happens. Second time, nothing. Sixth time, nothing. 7th time, bingo, light ships, who knows?
Right.
Yeah, I like it. Who's working right now and doesn't have a job and has a bunch of cameras?
Exactly. Roy, you wanted to mention something.
Me and Archbishop James Cloud, we presented a pilot. I have to send you that link. It was called The Exorcist Journeys, where we were going to be filming him. He's been on some of the craziest exorcist cases as far as casting, demons and spirits out of houses and everything. And he got his own camera crew, and we were putting together a show that was going to incorporate a lot of that, and also put a musical part at the end that was going to introduce a new musical artist every episode to the world. And it got some looks, but it's kind of calmed down. I think we revisit that again in 2021. But I will send you the link to that little trailer. It was pretty nice.
I'd like to.
And you know what else? And you know what else they do in this house? They take drugs like smoke, like a little bit, whatever. They could do that, and if they can connect with the other side. And I'm not saying, I'm saying like DMT or whatever they call that stuff. The stuff that makes you hallucinate, the ayahuasca thing. I mean, people didn't Grant Cameron used to do that or somebody?
You
right?
Grant? Grant?
I don't know. Maybe maybe it wasn't.
I'm right now. Sorry.
I don't know. But I'm saying there's people out there who've done it in the field and talk about it. So you get a doctor and you have them watch everybody, and maybe they just trip and see maybe they meet an alien. What if they all meet the same one because they're all in the same vibration because of that? I'm just throwing ideas out there.
Yeah, what the heck, right?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Corrence, jump in here.
Okay, I've been listening, and in theory, putting a 24-hour camera like the Truman Show or EdTV is, and it would make sense in theory. However, without mentioning names, I can tell you I know a family members who have experiences. And I have been in the home of one of them when it happened. And it's a lifelong experience, for lack of a better term. It's just been going on since a very young age. This person, it's difficult for them to even, not difficult, but to share it with family members is one thing, but to have a camera in somebody who I know for a fact is experiencing things throughout their life, it's a very difficult situation. I understand exactly what you're saying. Yeah, that would be great if this person would be willing to do that. However, having dealt with this on a personal level, a scale that is seeing it and understanding what they deal with, I don't even know if a monetary amount would even tempt them to do that. So I understand what you're dealing with and your ideas. Yeah, that's what we need. We need to see this. We need to have a 24-hour TV. We need to watch it when it happens. But coming from a personal level, it is so difficult to deal with the repercussions of people seeing that and then understanding what you have to deal with. That's just I'm sorry, I don't mean to be a big downer on this, but I was listening to all this, and that's where my mind was going, was watching what I actually saw take place when I was a young person staying the night at this person's home, and then inquiring to this person, like, oh my gosh, what's going on? And there's a whole there's a whole history here. I've chatted about this in the chat. And then to listen to the stories that I was told, like, yeah, this is what's going on, blah, blah, blah. Oh my gosh. This is why I'm so open at times when I hear people in the chat or I hear guests that come on and other people are like, BS this, BS whatever. No, not so much. You would be surprised at some of the things that happen and how hard it is for people to admit to it and share it with other people. So bringing in a camera crew and putting these things up in your everyday personal life, that is so difficult to imagine. And again, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be a downer on this, but that is tough. It was tough for this person to talk to me just a couple years ago at a family reunion, in fact, when I was like, you remember this and blah, blah, blah. So I'm listening to this, and it sounds good in theory, but in implementation and what it does to the psyche of the person and what they have to deal with in real life, it's a whole nother ball game.
I agree with you, and you would need a channel that is dedicated to that 24 hours a day, on still cameras. And we see a lot of paranormal investigators now doing that on Facebook, where they'll go and do investigations and they'll leave a a stationary camera just on a location, whether it's in a museum room or an attic or a kitchen or something along those lines, just to see what is caught on those. But I mean, the money that would have to be invested in something like that, I just don't know if it's even possible. I would love to see it happen. Rich, I think your idea and combined with Quest is absolutely perfect. It would be. I just don't know where to go with it or how to get that done. And how do you even create a budget for that?
Wow.
You got to have a bunch of teams, I think, get together and say, let's just put all forces together and live in this place.
Right.
Or even with Bigfoot, why can't they just stay out there for 6 months to a year? Just build a little cabin or something. I know it's got to be difficult, but there are people who would do it.
God, I would.
And the Bigfoot thing makes sense, Rich. That makes sense. But if you're talking about a personal level in somebody's home who's being haunted, what if it's the person being haunted and not the home itself?
Yeah, I wasn't thinking of that. I was thinking for a show, it would be like a place that it's old, but you can still live there. Like an old hotel or something. But
one of the experiences I'm talking about specifically was a home that was being haunted, but it followed the person to the person's next place.
Right.
And so then that would then become the home itself. Oh gosh, I could get into a whole slew.
Yeah,
of
you're
things.
just saying the person probably takes it with them.
Well, but no, what I'm talking about is the place where they came from. But anyway, it could be either the home itself, and that would be great if that could happen. On the other hand, I know with this person I'm speaking of specifically, it was a personal haunting. It actually followed. And I when I say haunting, I don't mean to imply a specific definition, because I know that people are like, a haunting is this, a whatever is this, or a poltergeist. I'm not implying any specific thing. I just know that there was spiritual activity and it followed this person. So, if it was just a place itself, that could work. Yes.
We've only got about 4.5 minutes left in the round table tonight. And, the one thing that I kind of want to end this on a fun note, it's going to sound a little sad, but we're going to end it on a fun note because as a kid, I was big time into wrestling. And the first time I remember hearing all of these rumors because and stories about these legendary wrestlers called the Road Warriors, the Legion of Doom. Well, Road Warrior Animal passed away this week at the age of 60. Kind of sad because both Hawk and Animal are dead. And like all of these wrestlers that I grew up idolizing are like, there's very few of them left. I mean, the majority of the Hart Foundation outside of Bret Hart are all dead.
Yeah.
Right? You look at the Von Erichs, you look at Mr. Wonderful or Mr. Perfect, you look at Rick Rude, Randy Savage, all of them.
Yes.
And Ultimate Warrior.
The Ultimate Warrior, yeah, man. Roddy Piper.
King Kong Bundy.
Chris
Benoit, absolutely.
The Giant.
Andre the Giant, yeah. It's nuts. And they're all dying young. And I'm sure that's just years of steroids and the pounding that their bodies have taken. But nonetheless, let's end this on a good note, because I got to tell you, when I was a kid, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff were my favorite wrestlers. And then as I've got older, I realized how much as a kid I hated the Iron Sheik. But today, he is the ultimate. He is fantastic. Greatest heavyweight champion ever, the Iron Sheik. So my question to you, Roy, we'll start with you on this one, as we only got a couple minutes left. You got to be quick. Who is your favorite wrestler growing up?
Ray Stevens. He was part of. They were kind of like almost the Four Horsemen, but Ray Stevens, he was managed by Bobby the Brain Heenan and Black Jack Lanza, Nick Botwinkle, and those guys. But Ray Stevens was my guy.
Oh, nice. What was his finishing move?
I don't know, but they called him the Crippler. Supposedly he broke Dr. X's leg coming off that top rope.
Oh,
and the leg snapped right on TV.
Ouch. Corrence, who was your favorite wrestler growing up? I think he hung up. Apparently he didn't like this topic.
Hey, are you there? Okay.
Oh,
I'm
there
sorry.
we are.
Okay. I started out watching the Von Erichs against the Fabulous Freebirds in Texas, World Championship Wrestling, WCW. Oh, but then, that is such a hard question. I liked Booker T. He always was a guy I liked.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go back to my original, just the Von Erichs and the Fabulous Freebirds. I'll go with Kerry Von Erich, but I liked Kevin, but they all died, so it's maybe Fritz Von Erich, the dad. Who knows? I'm sorry. There's just so many to choose from. I'll go with Roddy Pied Piper. I like the Snake Pit. There you go.
All right. Nicole, you had to be a fan of the Fabulous Moolah. I know you had to be.
I was.
I'm going to put a different spin on this because it's wrestling and I'm a chick. But, God, they're just ugly dudes in wrestling. So, thank God Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson came around with his fucking, effing black.
Come on, Jesus.
The mouth on this one.
With
Oh, my
and
God.
the people.
What's with you, Gil?
And the eyebrow, like, come on.
All right,
and the
Rich,
smiles.
you're up. Rich.
I'm up. All right. You know who I really enjoyed? Let me tell you something, brother. I was a Hulk Hogan maniac. I loved Hulk Hogan. It goes way back to the Rocky III movie, man. I was in love with that. And he was Thunderlips, baby. And when he came out, there was nothing like it. We went nuts. I remember seeing him and Andre the Giant and Veterans Memorial Coliseum, 1983. It was the best time. I couldn't believe how big they were. And it's Hulk Hogan, hands down.
All right. Thank you, everybody on the panel. Roy Washington, Rich Giordano, Nicole Sakach, and Corrence, the booking guy. The SOR Roundtable finishes on a strong note. We've got Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal rocking in the background with Little Brother is Watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at home, in your cars, at work, wherever you may be. Thank you to everybody participating in our chat rooms on Spreaker, YouTube, LGAB, Revolution Radio, Facebook, our Space Travelers Club, and Twitter at hashtag Spaced Out Radio. Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and SOR Media Ventures Limited. Thank you so much for choosing to share your evening with us, because together, my friends, we own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. The Woo Train has docked for the night, but soon, my friends, we shall ride again. Your seats are always available. Your tickets never expire. And if you want to bring a friend, we got room for them too. Good night. Bad Nicole.